Good afternoon, YouTube. Good evening, good morning, depending where you're at, folks. It's your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, can you believe it? We're almost through February. I mean, time is flying. This is the second month of the new year. This is the last full week. You know, February is the shortest month of the year. It's also Black History Month. So you go to my channel, I am posting videos and clips of my favorite dedicated to the sisters of bodybuilding, because and we're having a little discussion, folks. This is something that's been going on last week, and some ladies who I follow, people I follow, and it's posted here, there, and there, and there, yeah. And I'm not going to talk directly about that subject because sometimes some stuff is kind of like, it's kind of like you don't want to get your feet deep in something, and then just say, hey, you're this, you're that. But so we're going to talk about it in a backhand way. So I have a couple of gentlemen here. So, I usually try to have some ladies here. So it's going to be a sausage fest for you schmoes out there. So we have here a couple of gentlemen who are here right now. We have here my usual partner in crime, Mr. Big Keith Williams, a.k.a. Scuba Steve, a.k.a. the Black Hulk Hogan. I hope he's going to do that. And also, we have here KL the Wanderer, the miracle, the man, the legend. I mean, he's getting big, folks. He's following my footsteps. Yeah, come on, son, you got to grow up. So, anyway, if you saw lately, there was a big talk about, as you know, there was a show in Brazil where a man was competing in wellness. And people are wondering, would there be a division in the States or here? No, I don't think it's going to happen, especially as long as you have the Manion family heading the IFBB NPC. It's not going to happen. But people look at some ladies and they have the idea that could women legitimately compete with men? We have to.
Well, hey, you're wrong because a long time ago, before wellness came on, Peter Potter had
No.
Can't hear you. I think what the problem is echoing, and he's trying to.
Yeah, I was saying.
Yeah, that's why you need headphones when you do these sometimes, because you get the echo back. I think it's coming with you too.
To me?
Yeah. Don't you hear it?
Yeah, I probably hit it. I don't know what else to do, so I don't know. Because want me to take my headphones, just see what's going on, or I can take it off.
So
Yeah.
Peter Potter had a class, and God, this one I was an amateur. So it was like a wellness division for men, but they had a gene category, a push-up, a sit-up, all kinds of shit. So it has happened, not in the extreme that we're seeing now, but they had this class for men. It was called the men's wellness something. So they had a jeans at round, they had a push up contest, they had a sit up contest, they had them coming out in like the posing trunks type, like board short shit. It was crazy. So it happened once, but we're talking about something completely different.
Yeah. I remember they was trying to do a men's fitness division years ago, and then it didn't work out. But I heard in some places it still exists, like overseas in Europe, and I think in some other countries. But I think they tried to do it in the states, but it just didn't click because it's just I think it was kind of like supposed to be almost like with the guys wearing almost like I think it's how men's physique started originally.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like that, but then
Yep.
they dropped, yeah, and then they dropped it.
Can
The
y'all hear
whole,
me? Oh, sorry.
hmm, yeah, I think that's how it was supposed to start out. Because
Yeah.
there's like 10 divisions in, in the IFBB. Technically 9 in NPC because fitness they don't have to be fitness. I don't know how you actually get your pro card as a fitness competitor. You know,
Yeah.
um, and there's only really 10 in the IFBB. Now, 4 of them are men's divisions. That's men's open, which is I would say the first. Then there's men's physique, 212, and men's classic. Now, men's classic is supposed to be a throwback to like Arnold, Hussein, Franco Colombo, Sergio Olivier. From Arnold, he likes it because it reminds him where those guys used to be. They're kind of like in between, like physique, men's physique guys, but they just have more legs and wearing shorts, trunks, banana hammocks.
Uh, I don't see this. So just, I mean, so what is the question? If women can compete against men?
Yeah, that's the question. Because, like I said, one point is like genetics. One thing, men and women have different genetics, and guys can put on more muscle than women. But there's just that some people think that if you look at some women who you see on social media, especially one lady who I follow, some of you might recognize her. She's one of several Russian competitors here, and that is I'll pull up a picture over here. That's Natalia Kosanova, if I got the name right, or they call it Amazonka. This was like about 3-4 years ago. This is the year when she got a pro card, and I think that's a men's 212, I believe, and that's her.
No, that's
Now,
William Benoit. That's an open guy.
open shit.
That's
I thought
William.
212.
No, that's William
She got
Benoit.
more
That's
muscle.
maybe. I mean, that looks like William Benoit. He's an open guy.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
But even Sean Roden, when he was alive, when he was over somewhere, Sean said she had bigger legs than him, and
yeah.
he's an Olympian.
Yeah. And she only competed for a couple of years. She got a pro card, and I think she competed for a good while, but she got a pro card I think in 2019. Then she made a pro debut in 2020, and I know a lot of people was wondering where she's going to come back. Where she's going to come back, but then she said because there wasn't no money for it, she stepped away. But she still trains and put on the side she does. It's just because I sent I think a link to KL, and it's
Yeah,
the one with her, yeah, flexor, and it's
yeah.
just a big that you see like if like and a woman to get that big, that can't be crazy.
I mean, that's like some freak show stuff with me. I mean, like just looking at that, that's like something you can have in sessions or something. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, like if she compete against men, it's saying that women can like men and women can intermingle with each other in other sports as well. Because like the years back, they had a big fuss about the Transformers in the other sports like women divisions, and some of the women athletes they wasn't having that. So
Yeah, wait. He can't hear you. Can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Must be on mute.
Y'all
See,
still got the echo though? You still hear the
no,
echo with me?
not from you. Not from you.
Okay. All right.
Can't hear you. Go in and go out. I think something happened. He's just, know, yeah, go and go out. It must be issue. But yeah. I remember. There's also it was a while back. There was these um, he was a swimmer. He was transgender
Yeah.
swimmer. He was competing in a college show, a college swimming. There's always uh some issues with that. We got here a man, Coach, coming through. Says salute GP. Salute to the man, the coach. This is the man who made me the man I am today. Shout out to Coach.
Coach.
He says, "Yeah, love you, man. I love you too, Coach. Thank you." And last night he came back and did one of his live streams. I love seeing on
And
that.
he's a coach for real?
Yeah, he's in South Carolina. He coaches track. He does also sports and stuff like that. He's a great
Okay.
guy. He's the guy who got me into this. We already got him back
Okay.
here. So hello, hello.
Yeah, he's in slow motion now.
Yeah. Oh no, if Raheem was out here, he'll pick on him and say he has that Keith Williams
It's a
Wi-Fi.
holiday. I'm surprised he's not here. He probably pop up. Now I got something. Oh,
Where I can hear him. What you were saying because you were going in and out.
There was a, remember in Canada, there was a transgender person who wanted to compete in women's bodybuilding, and that girls like, hell no. They're like, nope, not going to happen.
Actually, Actually, she did. There was this woman, and she was trained by Don Allison. I interviewed. Remember when I do my interview with Maria Lieberman? Don Allison trained a woman who who earned a pro card, competed at the Remaining Muscle Fest, the same about 2 or 3 years ago. But now she's fully living as a man. She was living as a man, but keep competing as a female bodybuilder. I forgot her name. I saw pictures of her. She looked very attractive for a female
she's from
bodybuilder.
Hong Kong, right?
Yeah, she's reached from Hong Kong, and she
Yeah.
competed as a female bodybuilder. She still had, pretty much, well, all her, things, as a woman, but now she lived functionally as a man now. But yeah, she was a transgender, did compete with the women, but she was still
Well, there was one
pretty
in
much
Canada
technically a
too.
woman.
There was one in
Hmm.
Canada too, and she did one of the Toronto or one of the shows, and the girls were like, nope, they were going to boycott competing because they're like, it's no. And the problem with this is you can't have a man compete against women because they naturally build testosterone. We understand that some of these girls that compete have to use certain substances in order to be on their level. We all do, but at the exact same time, if you're already a man, you're already a man, change into a woman, and you that woman. I don't know how that changed scientifically wise with the testosterone levels. Well, you already have an upper hand on women already. So why would a woman want to compete? That's what you have no women and the women because these women are like, hell no. How are we supposed to go? We have estrogen. They this person has testosterone. How are we supposed to compete against him or it? When they produce producing natural testosterone and we're still producing natural estrogen. It's not a level playing field.
Yeah, it's like this is a good example. Like you look at someone like Hella Trevino, Hella, could she stand against someone like Chris Bumstead?
No,
No, it's
absolutely
just
not.
it wouldn't be impossible. It'd be impossible because the fact is, Chris, he has that testosterone, even though he's in some might say a smaller division. Men's classic still can blow out any female bodybuilder, even my favorite.
Yep,
Hmm.
absolutely. I mean, hell, I've said it on our podcast a lot, George. A lot of classic physique guys are in better shape than open bodybuilders. I mean, it's a fact.
Hmm.
A prettier look, more condition, better presentation, etc., etc. They're just
Hmm.
smaller.
Yeah.
Now, people
And the
have
thing is
posed the
that
question: can Chris Bumstead go to the open? No. Chris Bumstead is in a lane in his own, and he's like Andrea. Chris Bumstead and Andrea are two people who will lose their titles when they choose to lose their titles because they have this shit down to a science. And even Chris Bumstead says, as he wins more championships, the one thing you got to love about this guy is he is blatantly honest with people. As I win more championships, I use less gear. He goes, there's a lot of guys who walk around the gym who use way more stuff than I do and look nothing like I do. Because it comes to a point where now, like Andrea or Chris Mum said, you're just maintaining what you have. You don't, because everybody's chasing after you. You're not chasing after anybody. And so why if it ain't broke, why fix it at the end of the day?
Yeah, because the thing is, what works for one person doesn't work for the other.
Mm-mm.
Like, if Chris said, you know what, let me go up to 212, still he wouldn't do as well where he's better where he's at. It's like if Andrea said, you know what,
Too tall.
let me go down to physique, and still to that with that one, I don't know, because Andrea could go back down to physique and do well because she has to lose a lot of muscle to do it.
Yeah, remember Julianne, the girl who was the before Sarah and the other Natalia girl. It was a girl named Julianne who had the title for like 4 or 5 years. Is that her?
Julia
I
McCarr.
remember seeing her at the huh? What was her name?
Julia McCarr. Julia
And
McCarr.
McCarr said, I remember being
McCarty, I forget.
at the New York Pro. I remember being backstage at the New York Pro with her, and she said she had to take off a whole year of training just to get down to be a women's physique competitor. So and then you got the notion of Dana Lynn Bailey went out and said she stopped competing because she says, now this is what she says, that she's never used steroids or gear ever. And that's why she stopped competing. So that's another question. Who am I to question? I mean, she said it. She went on, the guy go, come on, you never used, she's like, no, I've never used anything. So, but, some people make that decision,
Yeah. And remember, you told me how they wanted Shanique Grant to move up to women's bodybuilding, but she said no, she didn't want to do it because she felt like a lot of ladies, who especially in the physique division, if I go to women's bodybuilding, I lose my femininity. And that's always a debate about losing femininity. And this is what some lady told me. Femininity is not per se, it's more of a state of mind than anything. It's more how you present yourself as a woman. It's just how you look as a woman.
well,
And there's some women who go ahead.
I guess the question is define femininity. That's the question that we have to ask. Define it. Because when a certain person that we don't talk about on this show, and I'll repeat this because I was sitting there during the conversation with Alina Popa and Linda Murray, two of the sexiest women on the planet in the sport, who competed in this sport, looked at this person and said, maybe you should go to women's bodybuilding. And she looks at him and goes, well, I'm trying to stay pretty. And they both looking at her like, what are we, chopped liver? And these two women, you guys both know these two women are gorgeous. So when you sit there and look at somebody like that, or you look like an Andrea Shaw, or you look like a, Tina, or you look at some of these girls and you sit there and say, define femininity. I guess that's to be the question. That's the biggest question. And what are these girls looking at? Like, I remember the girl who was the girl that you had on who said that she went to bodybuilding, then she went back down to physique. You just posted a picture of her. Black, won the Florida show.
That was you mean Sheena, or was that or that Jada? Yeah, Jada. She didn't win the show.
No,
She competed at
Jada.
Daytona.
And Jada said, and now, yeah, and I get what Jada's saying, because to a degree, for some women like Jada, who is a smaller person, and not as big as some of these girls, and to put on the side to compete with these girls, she said, and she was blatantly honest with it, she goes, it was hard on her body to expect, everybody, different strokes for different folks, have their opinions on what they do as far as competing and things like that. So sometimes it's hard for girls to have to do, and that's what that's when we have this discussion, like, can a woman compete with a man? The things that some guys have to take versus women, it already changes them. So they're going to have to use more now to get to that level to compete with these guys, and it's going to change them more. And again, at the end of the day, is it just worth it? I just don't. With the natural estrogen that they have, the things that these women already have to use to compete at the level against other women is just impossible.
Yeah, because it's a lot of work. Some women like Jada or
Hello.
like Sheena, a couple others who are like smaller, leaner, they know to compete with the bigger girls like Andrea, Irie Anderson, Eva Montgomery. You have to put on the side. You have to take more gear, as they say. But is it? I ask yourself, is the risk worth the reward? That's why I was hoping Lloyd was here because Lloyd can really give a standpoint being a woman, but I know she's busy and stuff like that. So, what you think,
You couldn't
KL? What you
find no other.
hmm?
And I was gonna ask you, couldn't find another other female bodybuilder.
Who?
Uh, no, I was just asking you. You couldn't find another female bodybuilder with another topic. That's what I was
Mm,
gonna ask.
nah, it's hard to get anybody who want to be on here. Some people are kind of busy, or it's just they may not want to touch on the subject, but it's up to them. But if these women, they're the ones who are saying, okay, our sport is being pushed out, this and that. So you need to speak up because I have an open platform for you if you want to share your thoughts. But I think some people are more concerned about how they get perceived. When we do lives like this. Because I know we talked to women before. Hey, you want to do a live? They say, nah, I don't think I want to do it. I say, okay, that's cool. I'm not gonna ask anything else. But
Yeah,
you
I don't
know,
understand. Like like it's. I mean, to put the sport out there, you're gonna need somebody to say something or you know to put
that's the
themselves
thing.
out there. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's the thing. They don't want to put themselves out there. They don't want to be seen as
Then it's
okay.
gonna always be like this. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like, it ain't gonna really change.
hmm
It
And the
is
thing is
not.
that people, yeah, because if you want to make change, you gotta shake a few things. I'm just a guy who just has a small channel here, who's a fan of the sport, who likes to talk
Yeah,
about subjects that kind of just in my head. We have conversation with because there's many times I have conversation with ladies offline. Sometimes someone like with this whole thing came off. A lot of it was sending me pictures and a video. Actually, somebody sent a video of the dude getting prepped up, before he competed the show.
yeah, I seen that.
But if when I say, hey, let's talk about this, they say, I don't think I want to talk about it. So I'm not going to push anything on you. It's up to you. You got to make a decision for yourself. We got here, you know, we got here a man, Marcus Bell coming through. He says, salute George, all the rage George Page coming through, smashing that like. Thank you, Marcus. Warrior 2000. He's coming through here. He says, uh, George Keith KO George Keith, what up? I
What
guess he
up?
want to hear, if he's I don't know if he's gonna come in or not. You know, y'all know it's I'm waiting on him to see if he, it might be some issue, but he's
You know, I
I
remember
don't
years
know.
ago. I mean, not years ago. Yeah, years ago. I was watching this documentary. This is like not bodybuilding, but it's pertaining to what we're talking about. There was this woman, like she played like college basketball, like women's college basketball, and she dominated women's college basketball, like I think Division 1. And so they recruited her to the NBA. I forgot where, but she didn't want to do it because she kind of felt that she couldn't compete against the men because they were more athletic, they could jump, you know. So she ended up not taking that turn to be like the first woman to be in the NBA.
Yeah, I remember a while back there was like one person who always wanted to see, me try. It was Cheryl Merrill. That's Reggie Miller's sister. I think she played in some, uh, overseas a bit. She played in some overseas. I think
WNBA.
she even, yeah, I think she played for the Harlem Globetrotters for a minute, if I try to remember that. But
Yeah,
I think most women understand that. they're not going to be as competitive compared to a man. Now, some women don't think they can do about anything a man can do. You have limits. Men, we have natural, as my man Keith says, natural testosterone. We have more muscle density. We can run faster. If you know, they do in the Olympics, they have a mixed relay race. And then, you ever see the time when they see the woman running with against the
Yeah.
dudes? Or, it should be like this. Okay, you start off you know, with a male, then you start off with a female, and then you start off with another male, and you end off with a female. See how that goes. Sometimes they do like this here. Start off with a female, then with a dude, and then boom, boom, and then sometimes,
And the
you
dude
know,
be exceeding though.
yeah, there's been times we see a guy running against mostly women, and the women are way back in the track,
Yeah.
and he's already way ahead.
Well, it's like I tell people about, I coach women girls basketball. My daughter plays girls basketball. And, during this time, last year, where South Carolina and UConn and LSU and all these things, it's just like Marcus Spears said on ESPN. The funny thing is, does men dominate women in basketball? But it takes women have a certain skill set and mentality. And he actually said, he goes, some of these guys should fucking watch the way these women play because their mentality is completely different. They're way more competitive than men. Way more competitive. And their skill set. You don't see a bunch of 6'10", 6'11" women can just dunk all the time. So they have to have a different skill set. They actually have to fucking shoot. They actually have to, do things to make them better athletes than men because they can't just dunk. So they're, I have season tickets and I take my daughter to games and you got this, oh, the ball's smaller and this, that, and other. But it takes us different skill sets sometimes when we're talking about men versus women and some things. It's just the same thing as women. Now, do you ask the question, if you ask the question, who has to work harder in order to achieve more in this sport? Women. Women have to. They don't have the testosterone. Even if they take testosterone, they still have to work harder. It's just the evolution of a man versus woman. So when people look at, and that's the problem that we have in this sport, and people can call it controversy. People can say I'm stirring up the shit or whatever. That's why I look at the sport as like, why isn't the money different? I mean, the New York Pro prime example, they amped up the money 10 grand. And the funny thing is, a certain individual said, well, it's helping the sport. No, it's helping one class, and that's open.
Yeah, because just a while back, if you follow the Mannion family, Tyler posted that, and I think I touched on it a bit because how the money it's not fair disbursement. I mean, I understand that the women they say don't bring as much people to the show, and as I keep saying, the men's division, especially men's open, is the bottom bitch. It's the one that gets attention. The promoters will throw money at it, and divisions like bikini, which fits it's more promotable because the women fit the idea of femininity. If you think about it, like I was watching one video where a guy says how bikini kind of evolved from another. No, it didn't really evolve from another division. If you think about it like this, the history of bikini goes like this: bodybuilding started out like almost like bikini originally, but then it evolved, and then the ladies were kind of like maybe early stage of figure. They were in high heels, good part of the 70s. Then it evolved to the Rich McLeish, the Angela Langers, the Corey Eversons. Then it evolved to Lloyd Craval, Linda Murray, Kim Javeski. Then it evolved to Iris and Vicky Gates and Lisa Auckland. And then they decided that, back in the 90s, some ladies like Sharon Manone and Laura Bass were too small for bodybuilding. We created fitness. And then those women felt like, fitness was too much for them. So they evolved and they created figure. And then by the time when they felt like those three divisions were getting too much muscle definition, women, like if you look at now, compare, they say, okay, let's pull bikini in. And bikini, if you think about it, it's like Hawaiian Tropic and Hooters used to have bikini competitions. Or you go to Fort Lauderdale, they have those bikini shows. I remember it used to be when I was younger, used to be a show come on. It was just go and they go do the visit bikini contests. Back then they weren't as fancy. Just girls wearing bikini bottoms and tops, and then they wear the like the sling bikini and stuff like that. It was entertaining. But now that division has evolved because the pressure that bodybuilding has put on it in the last few years. You look at some of the bikini girls. They have, if you compare a bikini girl in IFBB to a pageant contestant, you can really see the difference between those two women.
Absolutely. And that's the problem. Is like, again, my whole question is when you go to, like, you don't understand the New York Pro and some of these shows, but again, the question is, how do we know what the draw is? How do we actually know what the draw is? How do we know? Of course, some sports, things like, I think it was Night of Champions, it was called in New York. Now it's the New York Pro, but that's always been a men's show. We get that. Some shows are just, we understand that that's the history of the show. And they brought women's bodybuilding in. And which you would think it would have been a lot sooner because of Beth Francis and things like that, but clearly it wasn't. But it's just one of those things. It's like, I'd be very, like, I'm just so interested to see how we know which class is more popular than another class. You know, um, Bikini. I would say bikini is one of the biggest classes and the biggest draws because no, and I don't mean to offend bikini big girls when I say this, but anybody can do it. Not everybody can do women's physique. Not everybody can do women's bodybuilding. Not everybody can do men's classic physique. Not everybody can do, I mean, hell, some women can't even do fitness because that takes a certain skill set. But anybody can do bikini. I see so many girls at the gym now, and I just left there, who, oh, I'm competing in bikini, or I'm competing in wellness, and I'm just like, Jesus. I'm like, you can just, I said, the coach can just throw any fucking thing on stage these days. No shit, seriously. Some of these girls posted on my fucking social media, and I'm like, you look no different. I'm a judge, so I can say this shit. I'm a judge, I can say this. But I look at some of this, and I'm like, I would never put that on stage, ever. But the girls lose a little weight. They, get a coach to convince them, and that's why bikini, in my opinion, if you look at all the classes, bikini probably dominates every class in this sport, every class, because anybody can do it. Not men, but anybody can do it as far as girls are concerned. So that's why, I mean, I get to the point that shows, and I hate to say this, and I'm like, fuck bikini, fuck me. There's like 20 girls in each class, and it's like 30 fucking classes. I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to keep track of each one of these girls? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, eventually they all start running together and they all start fucking looking alike. I'm like, the only difference is their suits, and some of them have the same suits on.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that when we ask the question, who draws the most money? I would say bikini. I would say, because here lies the question. And I know we're getting off subject, but these guys, these top guys, don't do but one show a year. And now it's even becomes even more slim pickings because, as we were just talking, I was talking to my buddy the other day, if you don't win the show, you don't get in. It's no points. So you got to win a show in the men's open, women's open, and all these other classes besides wheelchair to get in. So what are we talking about? It's besides the top 5 guys or top 3 guys in Olympia and the women's Olympia that automatically get in. But then, you got to look at all the, and they can have as many shows as they want. But when I was competing, and I'm competing this year, but when I was competing in the past, we are all going off a point system. All right, well, I placed second or I placed fifth. So I need 4 for, depending what the point scale was, where you at on the scale. That's how you gauge which show you were going to do, if you're going to do a couple more shows or you're just going to wraps. I mean, I've done 3 or 4 shows in a year, but guys don't do that anymore because, for one, you peak, 2, you peak again, 3, now you start to get burnt out and you don't get in. And it's just too much on the body, it's guys and they're like, why am I doing this? Because if I don't win, I'm out. And that means I got to do another show. So if it's that hard for men, how hard do you think it is for women?
Yeah. This is my man Ward 2000. He made his comment, and I think he agrees with it. There are so many bikini girls, it's hard to catch up. I don't follow bikini or wellness division, but those 2 categories oversaturates all the other female classes. And yeah, because I've done an interview with a couple ladies in bikini. I've done an interview with a lady who is a pro bikini competitor. I've done an interview with some amateur wellness competitors. I would love to do an interview with a pro wellness competitor, but and I think it's kind of true that when this division, if you can think about it, if you're doing, because those shows are fast turnarounds, wellness and bikini and men's classic and men's physique, they're fast turnaround shows. You can set those shows up and maybe okay, one person do a show, then do the show 2 weeks later. But for men's bodybuilding, 212, women's bodybuilding physique, even those even somewhat figure those people, those men and women, it takes some time because even after you do a show, you need time to rest, to rejuvenate, because your body is stressed. I mean, I was just talking with a young lady who took a setback because she's not doing too well. She wants to compete, but she needs to take time to heal and to recover.
I remember I was interviewing this other lady not too long ago, and she was kind of breaking down like the poses for bikini, and she was telling me that bikini is not as easy as people think it is, and she's
Really?
doing, and yeah, and that's what she told me.
It's a
She was
fucking front
like
and back
demonstrating
pose.
like the poses and stuff. I look, I'm not a bodybuilder. I don't know, I'm just saying, just going what she told me. I'm like, she was doing it in front of me, and I'm like, okay, yeah,
Well,
that's what she
compared
told me, man.
Well, compared to some of the poses, I know somebody said that the poses they like are less like are the ones like the ab and thigh pose because they really have to concentrate and just really pull
Yeah,
your sensor in your core. Back poses are tough. I mean, some women who compete in figure go up to to go up to physique because if I want to do a little more than just stand in a spot and turn and turn and turn.
I guess because she was saying like I remember she was saying certain like certain movements of the back and stuff. You have to do the pose and but that that's what she told me.
No, I'm very confused as a judge that ladies, the hardest thing as judges, we're like, they always want to turn sideways. And we're like, stand to the front so we can see your fucking numbers. Turn to the back, walk back to the front. Okay, thank you. So I don't know what the complexity of that shit is versus I was just in the fucking gym sending updated pictures to my coach, and I was fucking just did shoulders, and I'm exhausted just doing 5 poses. I'm like, fuck, this sucks. Front double bicep, front lat spread, semi-relaxed, back double bicep, back lat spread, front abdominal, side tricep, side chest, most muscular. Really? And you're talking about hitting a front and back pose? What the fuck is the complication with that? No offense and all. Literally, when I go through a posing session with my coaches, I've passed out sometime at Gold's Gym because it's that tough. And any bodybuilder will tell you, any female or male bodybuilder will tell you that posing in our division is like a workout all in itself. And sometimes they mix you up and sometimes you got to go through rounds, but I don't understand a bikini girl, no offense to them and all, sitting there as a judge, and I am a judge for Chad and Chris Nichols, and sitting there saying, turn to the front. The biggest problem I have is like, can you get number 34 to turn to the front so I can see your number because she's cockeyed? All right, turn to the back.
Oh, I could send you the link. I could send you the link. She told me this. And I'm
And
just
sometimes in their presentation round where they're just by themselves, and it's like watching fucking paint dry because they move so slow. I'm like, oh my god, it's too many of you guys. They literally, like, when I bowl, I have a 25 seconds to get my ball. When I touch my ball on lane, and this is just bowling example. When I touch my ball, I have now 25 seconds to get my ball down that damn lane, or I get penalized for it. So what they should do for women's bikini is have a clock that says, like, when they get out there, like in bodybuilding, we have a certain amount of time. Depending on what show, you got 45 seconds to a minute free posing. That's the only time you get by yourself. Women bikini get out there, holy shit. It takes forever. They walk so slow, get into the stage, they get to the middle of the stage, they're doing their presentation, and you still got 20 more of them to go. And then 20 more of them to go. And then 20 more of them to go. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. I'm like, so I don't try to be disrespectful, but you cannot compare, and I don't know if they're comparing it, but it ain't even in the same atmosphere as to what we do
No,
as
no, I was just saying that, I remember I was telling her that, people don't take bikini as a sport serious like women's physique or women's bodybuilding. And then that's when she was telling me, people don't understand, certain things about, the posing and stuff. And, I mean, she was basically telling me that, for her to help her, like she does like yoga and stuff. So,
Yeah, but like it's yeah, her pose is totally different compared to the others. And truthfully, yeah, it can be difficult depending how you train, how you work. You have to stand a certain way, and you got to remember these ladies are wearing high heels, so they can't move too fast on the stage because you never know. You might, because sometimes you got oil on the stage, you might slip on something. So it's better maybe take it slow with. This is from man balls deep. He says this. He says,
oh shit.
men will smoke women in any sport, let alone bodybuilding. And it's just, you know, it's just about the perspective of what the standard is. I saw one post where it said that you'll never ever see, men competing along against women or another division like the one that's been, people being like uproar about. It's not going to happen because the fact is, it's just not realistic. I mean, yes, it's doable in one country, but it's not going to be doable here because the fact is, not a lot of guys want to wear, ladies' bottoms like that, and just work mostly just their quads. I mean, there's some guys in men's physique probably need legs like that, but that's men's physique.
so
I mean, it's both ways. Like, that I know I was watching a video that they was talking about how women think that they can be just as strong as a man or compete just as a man. So, and then it kind of the laws of nature prove them wrong and stuff. So I don't know.
Hmm.
I think it's the mentality, a
Yeah.
lot
Wait.
of people kind of
Yeah.
have.
Well,
So.
I do content on MMA, and and women they train with guys because truthfully sometimes it's not enough women to train along with them, so they train with men, and sometimes men have to hold back because if they go all out, you can hurt a woman. There's a while back, Clarissa Shields, who's a boxer, she was boxing with a guy. The guy hits her, in sparring, she falls down. She got
Yeah,
mad about it, but the fact is, you got to remember, you're fighting the guy. Even if the guy is in your same weight class, it's going to be different because the man's going to be stronger. You know,
that's what I seen
if,
too yesterday. Too.
yeah, if my okay, if you fight in 155, she fights in 155. You're just gonna be like, even if you're same weight, but your men are just gonna have that natural testosterone, that natural muscle, and that's just one thing women is not gonna really, have compared to men.
true, absolutely,
Yeah.
one agree with you 100% there.
Yeah. So, the fact is, this is just, I think people are just really concerned about if this is going to happen, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. It's not going to happen here. They need to focus on really, instead again, maybe, building, better quality shows for some competitors, especially for the women. They need, more opportunities. I mean, money should be better. I mean, little things like I know I talked to ladies like, hey, maybe little things to help y'all out along the way. Because hey, you like guys like you, Keith, and all the men and women in the sport, you are the product. And if anything, the IBB should take care of their product. I mean, we come to shows, we follow the on social media, we buy the pay per views when we can afford it. We support you athletes, but if anything, I think it should be more, taking care of y'all in the long run. Yeah.
But
We
again,
get.
we know that everybody is looking to protect their own pockets, and it is
Mhm,
at the end of the day. It's like the problem that what you said earlier in this conversation is that you give both of you guys give women a platform, and it doesn't have to be negative. It can be positive energy to get people interested. But when you're not even willing to get people interested in the what you're doing or about you or understanding it, it's like at the end of the day, it's like Raheem said, it's going to always be, like KL said, it's always going to be the same because you're not willing to give yourself or bring your ass on. I just got through working out. I just got through posing, and I'm on here advocating for women. So if we're on here advocating for women, and I'm in the realm of my fucking prep, I said, what's your excuse? That's my question. And I am an active IFBB pro getting ready for 3 shows and just literally left the gym. And I'm on a show talking about women. And I'm an open guy. I go, so that's how sad it is that you can't even get these women that come on the show to advocate for themselves. And that's just too bad. It's like you need to help. It's like Jerry Maguire said, help me help you. Help me help you. But if you ain't gonna help yourself, then there ain't nothing that nobody else can do about you. Your class, your field is going to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle till it's gone away again. And that's too bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Kevin Hart stole that from Jerry Maguire. Help me! So help me. Yeah. Yeah. This is from man War 2000. Says if you had to be says decides to take away bikini and wellness, from the other divisions permanently, would they lose money? Maybe I don't know.
Here's the thing that people have to understand too. These classes are not being built to these classes are being built because it makes the net worth and it makes the pockets of the NPC and the IFBB grow. And as you see by adding, you had women's bodybuilding, and women's bodybuilding probably is the least profitable out of all the other classes. I will say that. I said wellness, because wellness is different. I mean, wellness is sexy. Bikini is sexy. I'm not saying that women's bodybuilding isn't sexy, but it doesn't grab the appeal because these girls are flamboyant as fuck, arrogant as shit, and are out there like that. And that's, here's the thing. I'll guarantee you this, George. If you reached out to a bunch of wellness girls and a bunch of bikini girls and said, hey, want to come on my show? They'll be like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Guarantee you. If you guys reached out bikini girls and wellness girls like, hey, I'm doing a podcast. Would you like to come on here and tell us about your? Hell yes, they would. Yes. You'll get better response than you would for women's bodybuilding. And that's sad.
Well, I know.
What'd you say?
I said there's truth to that.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
A few bikini.
Or figure girls, some of the figure girls, because they're kind of like almost like bikini. And I've done some interviews in the last couple years of figure. I've interviewed a lady who was fitness, and now she's switching over to wellness this year.
Yeah,
I mean, I've sent some requests to a couple of wellness girls, but sometimes they can be also fruity. Yeah, they can be also fruity too. This is from man. War 2000 says Open Gyms Bodybuilding has already brought most of the money into IFBB and has been for years. Also, we have here our man Raheem Hamilton. Heath is right, and he said, it's not sad, and
I mean, of course, men's bodybuilding because it's been the cornerstone of the sport. But that's not saying that these women, can't grow the sport. Jake Woods gave them the biggest platform ever, bigger than any platform they ever had to grow the sport. And what you got was girls like, they were all in the beginning, and then they just got lazy. They got lazy. They didn't want to work like Tina. They didn't want to do the things. They just wanted shit handed to them. And that's not the way this works. Not when you're trying to come from the gutters and get back to the top of the mountain. You got to do things to get your sport out there. And that's not what they do. How many things do we see on women's bodybuilding? How many platforms do women bodybuilder? I mean, you got the show that Linda and those guys produced at Wings of Strength, but wasn't it the demographics of that? How many people actually watch that show? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I remember every now and then I used to watch it. It was mostly was Linda and Alina. But Alina now she's doing her stuff now. She's not there. Oh, we got here as a man. He's a troublemaker. Yeah, he's coming in here. It's our man,
Oh,
Raheem Hamilton. Oh, he's off today because it's President's Day. So,
oh,
Raheem, give us your thoughts. Could
you
you
need a profile pic.
yeah, give your thought, Raheem.
What is the topic?
Well, we're talking about how people don't think that women and men will never compete each other because everybody's talking about the whole situation about they saw that the dude in Brazil who's competing in men's wellness, and then I know a lot of ladies were talking about, hey, we send me links and maybe even talking about it, but we know that it's not going to be impossible. It's not feasible because men and women are biologically different, and just it's I don't know. Maybe it be I don't know. Maybe probably what might seeing Anya Shaw competing in men's bodybuilding where she didn't have to wear a top anymore.
It's not going to happen. That's wishful thinking.
Yeah, we don't know.
Um, it's not going to happen. You. The thing about women's sport in general, it has to grow organically on itself. Like the WNBA is the NBA is supplementing the WNBA. The WNBA been in the red since its inauguration in 1997. So you talk about nearly 30 years later. Had the NBA not supplemented the WNBA, it would have been folded already. So make a long story short, women bodybuilders, they're staying in their lane. Men bodybuilders stay in their lane. It doesn't matter if they compete. The draw is going to be men. That's what it is. The women bodybuilders, they have to build their own brand up. You had opportunity after opportunity to do it, just like with the WNBA, but whoever runs and operates the marketing aspect doesn't know how to market it, or the athletes themselves don't know how to. Basically, there's no media training. You could be a complete asshole, right? You can, but you have to be taught to hold that asshole persona in and talk to the media, because a lot of athletes don't like to talk to reporters, but but before they even get the chance, they'll learn to talk, how to talk to the reporters, how to engage with them, regardless of how you feel about them, regardless if the reporter talks down on them about the games they messed up the night before. No athlete has media training. If you don't do that, then guess what? You don't know how to engage with the media or the fan base. If you don't know how to do that, this is what's going to happen, and then your sport is going to die off. Um, the thing about what Keith was saying about the gentleman that's financing the bodybuilding, the thing is, he shouldn't do it by himself. One thing, the rule of thumb is, when you have money like that, regardless you rich, you never spend your own money. Mark Cuban, when he first bought the Mavericks, he spent his own money, but he bought an investor. The reason why the gentleman who I can't forget his name, Jake Woods,
Jake,
he
Jake.
Jake,
I want that money. I want that gun. I gotta
I
say
kept
it.
saying it's not a return on investment, because he took his own money out of his pocket and invested into the female bodybuilders. And then when Keith talked about when they did the brand ambassador stuff and how some of the ladies came in out of shape, they wasn't doing what they have to do, stuff like that. And then the money was going down the drain. He had to have investors to talk to them and invest into female bodybuilding. That's why I said there was no return back on his investment. That's why things started to basically stuff started shutting down. He started pivoting this way and started doing that way. So, and then on top of that, again, female bodybuilders, regardless how they feel about their fan, swallow your pride. Stop calling every dude smos. Those are fans. Get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Regardless of how you feel, you can
And
say no, no, no. And then
that's
on top of that, I keep explaining to you guys this. None of the female bodybuilders today is going to get those questions about the steroid uses and everything. Because again, if you watch shows like Geraldo, if you watch shows like Montel Williams and Donahue, when they had the bodybuilders on those shows, this is the 1980s or late 80s, early 90s. Those audience did not disrespect them. You can watch it on YouTube. You just see when the Murray was there. No one said, "Oh, you look like a man." Da 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 da. No, they would say, "Okay, I'm impressed about what you're doing. I can't do that, but I'm impressed." They gave them positive reinforcement. So all that BS in their head about they go on these podcast shows, people gonna talk negative, because again, I had booked two female bodybuilders on a show called I forgot the name of the show, Keeping It Real Hot Fresh, and none of those hosts talked down to those women. They never said, "Oh, you look like a man." Oh, you use a steroid. They was interested in the sport. You do have people out here that know nothing about bodybuilding, and if you sit down and talk to them about the sport, they would actually be intrigued about it. But
Yeah.
everybody, but this is what I'm trying to say. The downfall of this whole thing is the pride. The pride is the issue. Again, no one outside bodybuilder know who Andrea Shaw is. No one knows that she won 4-time Miss Olympia because guess what? It's in a small unit. It's only a what? Maybe what God, I forgot the name of those bodybuilding sites. It's only on there, and it's not hitting every place. It's not hitting the podcast shows. You got so much opportunities to be. They could be in movies because you got independent film directors out here on Facebook. They can hit them up. They can hit them up on Instagram too. They could get so much exposure, but guess what? Oh, I'm just gonna post up on Instagram. That's it. No one knows who you are. Just like the whole thing about Cody Rhodes. No one outside of WWE know who the hell Cody Rhodes is. They know The Rock. You know what I'm saying? So this is the same thing with female bodybuilder. No one knows Andrea Shaw outside. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bust your bubbles, George. No one know who Andrea Shaw is. They don't even know
Those
she
know.
exists. You know why?
Well, it's not, but it's not even that, Raheem. It's everything. It's like you just mentioned Cody Rhodes. I don't know who the fuck Cody Rhodes is. I know who The Rock is, but you have to understand. It's bodybuilding. It's just like when people come up to me and I say bodybuilding. I'm a bodybuilder. I'm a pro bodybuilder. You know what I have to reference to? Arnold Schwarzenegger. I do what Arnold Schwarzenegger do because people don't understand. Even me, as big as most guys, most people who see me think I'm either a UFC fighter, which I ain't got no fucking stamina or endurance for, or I'm a wrestler.
People think Jay Cutler's a football player.
People think Jay Cutler's a football player,
But if you don't watch football, you
but-
don't know who Jay Cutler
but
is.
if you don't watch football, you know who Jay Cutler is. Jay Cutler
Or
is a
like good,
box.
like good examples like Cody Rhodes. I know who Cody Rhodes is because I know his brother. That's Dustin. He's Gold Dust. I grew up watch his daddy, Dusty Rhodes. That's the American Dream. See people who
I
watch
know Dusty
that.
Rhodes.
It's Dusty Rhodes. I say Dusty. It's Dustin. It's Dusty.
Sports that are
You know,
going
because
Dustin,
Dusty.
Dustin. I heard about it. Cody
Yeah,
Rhodes, I don't care.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but
So the
the
story.
thing is, go ahead. But the thing,
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt. But the thing is, listen, the casual fan. This is what I say like this. I want to say it's because it does coincide with bodybuilding. The casual fans know who Cody Rhodes is. The casual fan know who Andrea Shaw is. But if I'm running bodybuilding, if I'm running WWE, I don't want Cody Rhodes to be the main event. I want Dwayne Johnson because you know why? Because the people outside that's not casual fans know Dwayne Johnson. If
Because
I'm
he's a
at
product.
bodybuilding, if I'm if
yeah.
I'm if I'm working at bodybuilding and Andrea Shaw is 4-time Miss Olympia, I am going to sit down with her. I said, listen, it's the fan base know you for a time. The world don't. So we're going to put you on a media press tour. You got to go around. I don't care how tired you are. You're going to go to New York, LA. We're going to put you on all the podcast shows. We're going to put you on everything so people know who you are. Right now, it's just like you're in it feels like a participation award. Like only the smos and the fans base knows who you are. But outside, no one knows who you are. If I walk through Detroit, I don't know who she is. I just say, "Oh, that's a big girl." No, it's the truth. It's not. It's
Yeah,
no.
you're right.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
It's just that you have to put. Listen, this is for all athletes. This is the perfect time to go into business for yourself because
Right.
again, yes, bodybuilding doesn't make a lot of money. So
If I see
perfect
Travis,
time. You can do, like I said, you could do podcast shows. You can do independent films. There's a lot of film directors that would love to have you. Again, I we had guests on the shows that were female bodybuilders, pro athletes. No host disrespected them. You have the right to say these are the questions. You can ask me those questions. You cannot ask me, and people will respect that. Again, this is not the wild wild west of the '80s where everything's sensational. Say yes, tell me that you take steroid. Tell me that you take steroid. Come on, they don't do that no more. It's either we gonna answer the questions I prepared for you, or we can go someplace else and someone else can do it for me. It's a gold mine out here. If the women want to get the sport out there, it's a freaking gold mine. You can go to any podcast, any public access channel. You know, you can do that. There's someone in the public access and can say, "Hey, I love what you did. I know a friend at NBC. Let's see if we can get you an interview there." And they can do that. It's all about connections, and that's how you get the word out.
She need
More
to be
Yeah,
in
people
them
watch
Fast and Furious
shows,
movies.
more money.
Yeah, sure.
yeah. Because that's the thing is they need to realize it's like this is the risk sometimes worth the reward. You got to put yourself out there. You can't be afraid. Okay, I might get rejected. That's the thing about life. You're gonna get rejected. You might get turned down, but if you take that chance and say, you know what, let me go. Okay, like every so often I send thing out to ladies, hey, you want to do your live stream? Some say, yeah, I don't want to do it. That's cool. I move on to the next one. Like what's the one to Maria, she was really cool. She said, George, you're the first time I ever did one. And I like that energy. We had good conversation. I remember when I interviewed Amanda Santos, and she even asked me questions about me. And it's good to have that back and forth to share, and that you're out
Well,
there. Oh, we got here. Wait, we got here
here's
for my
here.
man. Wait a minute. Well, this is from War 2000s. Most podcasts interview FBBC and women's physique can be helpful solutions to keep the sport relevant. Also, he said this where it says also, Raheem has made this point before, and this is from our man Lawrence Perkins, who is a fan. Ladies, I've done live streams, and Lawrence comes in. Ladies know who Lawrence is because he follows it on social media, and they always strike him out. So, good afternoon, everyone, and just stopping for a bit. Thank you, Lawrence, for stopping for a bit. I appreciate you, brother.
So
What you
here
say?
lies the problem,
What
guys,
was
and you guys have to understand this. And this is a real life actual situation that happened years ago when I was a rookie in IFBB and I did the Tampa Pro. I think it may be the second year I did the Tampa Pro. So they used to have this. They have it every year. It's called a meet and greet, where you go in and you get They set up tables just like they do at the Miss International. They used to do it, where we all have tables. We all have our names on them. Fans are on one side. We're on the other. On the side, they can ask questions. So Dave Palumbo, when he is an active part of the IFBB, they picked Dave to be the person who do the Q&A. Like, fans come in, fans can ask the questions. The problem was at the time, and I think it was my rookie season, women were very uncomfortable speaking because of the raspiness of their voice. And some people just don't have that. They don't have that open personality to just interview well or answer questions. That's just not their lane. So that is part of the problem. You know, when MBNS, I don't know if you guys remember, and I always reference to this, MSNBC, when women's bodybuilding went away because women were complaining that they weren't making the money that men were, they weren't being traded as men were, this that, and the other. Jim Mannion just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get rid of it," and they got rid of women's bodybuilding. And guess what? Women's physique popped up and became women's physique because they're like, well, since you guys want to bash because the powers of B or the powers of B, we're going to get rid of it. But these women at the time on this MSNBC were saying, like, how they had to record their voice because they were taking certain drugs to compete with other women. And they had to do all these different things. So it kind of exposed IFBB to a certain degree and exposed women to what they had to do in order to compete in the sport. But you also have the flip side of it where you have women who don't interview well, who don't speak, in front of cameras well, who don't do a lot of certain things well. And that's why and that's probably why they're uncomfortable talking, on a podcast, talking like Raheem. I don't see his picture, but you don't have to show your picture. We can hear your voice. You can talk, and it's not as intriguing, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But that's the problem, is that you have two sides to this. Where is a woman is she afraid? What is she afraid of? For one, is she afraid of not being able to speak well or articulate her words well? I remember Dave Palumbo gave it to woman a mic, and she was like, I was like, holy shit, I had to look to make sure it was a guy or a girl. I was like, seriously. And they were talking about and this was a lady who was talking about at the time retiring from bodybuilding to start a family. And I was like, holy shit. And I wasn't into women's bodybuilding like that. I can honestly say I didn't start, and I get where some of these people are coming from, because I didn't pay.
You lost
breaking
the
up?
sound. You lost sound. He was cooking, but you lost the sound.
It's
Keith.
that Obama. It's that Obama phone. It's that Obama Wi-Fi
Hey,
again.
hey, 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 we gonna bomb out of this. Okay.
Yeah.
Can't
I,
hear you, brother.
In the
Can't
gym
hear
that
you.
I didn't find it
Wait.
attractive and all, but I remember then when you start paying attention, I remember the first person I introduced Tina to. I said I introduced her to Linda Murray. Tina did not know who Linda Murray was because Tina was a women's physique competitor. She was a figure competitor. She was a women's physique competitor. I'm like, and I told her, I said, Tina, you need to meet this lady because if you're gonna get into bodybuilding, this is who I want you to aspire to be. She's beautiful. She's sexy. She's black, and I don't even, uh, Andrea Shaw is the new Linda Murray. Let's just say that, because Linda had all the tools, but Linda understood that she was only willing to push her body to a certain degree before she's like, I'm not going to do this anymore, you know. And when you look at Andrea. Andrea has all those tools of a Linda Murray where she understands she's willing to push so far, but she's at the point where she doesn't have to push any farther because she's arrived and she's where she's at. You know what I'm saying? And that's what these people have to understand. Some of these women, this is just not their lane. So I don't know how you
got a
get them.
question.
Huh?
Got a
Go
question.
ahead.
Yes.
Keith, you played in the NFL.
Yes.
Okay. How many? Same thing. There's how many players are on the roster in the NFL?
53 active. Yes.
Okay, 53 active. Out of 53, how many of them are in the same situation as female bodybuilder can't talk to media?
A lot.
Okay, so since they can't, the media goes to, or the NFL picks and choose the players who are media savvy, who can talk on the mic. Am I correct?
Well, no, because when I played for Denver, Shannon Sharp had a speech impediment. Let's just say
Yeah.
that. And Shannon Sharp would stand in front of a mirror and talk before he went in front of the media. Now he's on fucking First Take and he's on fucking, he was on the show with the other guy and he speaks very great. He speaks well now.
Because media training. But what
Yeah.
I'm trying to emphasize is that you pick the best of the female bodybuilders who can talk in front of the camera, who can talk, in regards of the camera or a recorder, newspaper reporter. You get those. You don't have to get all the female bodybuilder rosters. You just pick out the ones who can represent the sport better, who has the look, who has the charisma, and you say, okay, these are the ladies who we're going to have media talk to. So it saves the ones who don't want to talk to me, who can't do it. It saves them, because you're right. No, not everybody's media savvy, but this is where again the powers that be in the IFBB needs to have everyone, male, female, non-binary, whatever, to go through media training, to take media classes and learn how to answer questions, learn to say no comment, just stuff like that. It's basic media 101. You know what I'm saying?
Raheem, that is a great thing that you're saying, but you have to understand, it's just like saying WWE or NFL or in NBA. These are multi-billion-dollar brands that understand where their money comes from, and so they're invested in not only themselves but more so the athletes. But this is not that lane. The IFBB is not that lane.
Yeah.
The IFBB is not about, you don't, how many videos, like if you go, like every morning I wake up at 5 a.m. and I do cardio, right? And I go on YouTube and I'm watching Samson Dua, Chris Bumstead. I'm watching all these Machiavelli deals. If you go look up bodybuilding, motivation bodybuilding, and you have all these different brands, right? You'll have all these different bodybuilders, all these different brands, but not one of them says the NPC or the IFBB because they have nothing to do with this. There's these independent guys like you, Raheem, as an independent guy who's a film guy who says, hey, I'm going to put this video together about Chris Bumstead and him working out and all this other shit. That's what they do. The IFBB has nothing or choose to do nothing as far, if you go, like I said, you guys all go to look at bodybuilding motivation. And every morning I do this. And this is the things that keep me going at 5 a.m. doing my cardio. As I listen to these guys talk, and I listen to them, Chris Bumstead, the Sam Dua, the Derek Langfords, and all these guys. They're not the IFBB that are making these videos for these guys. There are independent guys that make these videos for these guys, and the IFBB has nothing to do with it. So as much as we sit there and say that the IFBB should put these people, they're never going to do that. I've been
I
in
would.
this.
I'm not saying. I never said.
I've been a pro for 15 years.
So,
In my
Okay.
training, I got a master's degree in exercise. Yeah, they do. Yeah, we do a rookie symposium.
well, right here, I got a comment here.
at the end of the day, the IFBB is not going to do this for these athletes. These athletes have to reach out to somebody who's making these films and put together a film. And most of the time, you see these guys working out. They're not talking much. So you have some guys who are charismatic. Chris Bumstead is one guy who's inspiring me like crazy, and Samson Dua. And if you follow him on Facebook, and Samson is a guy who's marketed himself so fucking well that McLaren gave him a fucking McLaren for free.
Ooh.
Celsius. He getting all these sponsors. Who's his main sponsor? His supplement sponsor. Because this guy goes on every day. So if you go to look up Samson Dua and go to his story every day, he's on there every day talking about his workout, his wife, he's walking his dog, he's at the gym, he's at a massage therapist, he's, at McLaren where he couldn't afford a car. This dude was a skinny rugby guy who's built his brand up so huge now that he's fighting y'all fucking people. And the guy is inspiring as shit. The guy who started off with nothing. And his wife is the one who got him into bodybuilding. But you're right, Raheem. These people have to understand that they have to market themselves in order to get themselves out there. Because if not, you can forget about the IFBB ever doing anything.
But
you
Keith,
can forget about
women's
strength ever doing anything. They're not going to do it.
Yeah. Well, Lawrence, sorry. Roy 2000 has a comment here. I want to post before we get to it. Kai Green went out and did movies and other
I can't hear you, George.
things. Oh, we said Kai Green went out and did movies and other entertainment things. We need someone like that in the women's bodybuilding circle to be that one that's that Raheem is implying.
Okay,
Also, this is from Devers
and he's right.
Adams. What's
Kai
up?
Green understood one thing. Kai Green understood that the IFBB was not going to. I remember, guys. My wife will tell you. If you go to my YouTube, there's a channel. There's me, C.T. Fletcher, and Kai Green. And that was the first year Kai Green did not do the Olympia because he felt that after Generation Iron, that he wasn't getting the same just due as Phil Heath. So Kai didn't compete in Olympia. Kai's net worth is more now, and we talked about this. Kai Green and Dana Lynn Bailey's net worth is more now than it ever would them ever competing. Because Kai Green said this to me, and I will quote, use the sport what you can get out of the sport, not what the sport can get out of you. Simple.
Raheem?
But that's, you know what? Kai Green said that, and then 44 years ago, Arnold said the same thing. Remember, he used it as a stepping stone to get where he had in Hollywood. Let me ask you a question. Do you know it's been 32 years since a female bodybuilder actually had a line in a motion picture movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think who was it? Was it
Corey
Chris
Everson?
No, it was Aces Iron Eagles 3. It came out in 1992.
Oh yeah.
What's
Richard
her name?
McLeish.
The girl from Grown Ups was the other one. She never competed. But the blonde, Chris Morrell.
But she had more lines. The other girl from Aces, because she was mainly one of the main leads. So what I'm trying to say is that for the female bodybuilders, you are in the perfect time and the perfect era where there are so many hungry film directors out there, whether it's drama, action, comedy, where you got the headshots already. You got
wait. But what era did you said was she in?
It was 3 with
what era was she
Jr.
in?
That was 93, 94.
92. No, 92.
92. Now you have to understand, 92 was a different look for women. So it was a completely different look for women. That's when women still were at the Arnold. When Arnold was actually doing his own commentary. The look was different in the 90s compared to what it is now. The look has gotten more, supposedly it was supposed to be going a much less hardcore look, like the Andrea Shaw of the world, and not the Iris Kyle of the world. And that's when you had that. But I don't know. That's a tricky,
But off season didn't look like that.
It depends what athletes you're looking at as far as that's concerned to, you know, to look into those roles. Like, I know people are looking at my wife and talking to her about certain things that I can't not disclose anymore. But it has a lot of money involved in it. But she has a certain look and a certain appeal, and that's a softer, not But again, they're talking about investing in her training to make her an actress. You got to understand, the first Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman who's been doing all these Wonder Women, had no acting experience whatsoever. Same as Teen. They taught her.
Well, actually, Gal, was
had no
already
training whatsoever.
doing movies, and some people forget that Gal also served in the Israeli
George, I
military.
can't
She
hear
was
you.
what? You can't hear me? I thought you could hear me. It might be something. But Gal Gadot, she was already doing a couple of movies before Wonder Woman. It just they had to train her to be more because she fit the idea what they wanted with Wonder Woman because she wasn't as muscular. She was leaner. She was a little bit taller.
Can everybody else hear George? I can't hear him.
Can y'all hear me? Hello?
I can hear George. I don't know.
You can hear him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Can you hear me? Raheem?
I can hear you.
All right.
I can hear you, but I can't hear George.
Yeah.
KO, can you say something?
Yeah, I hear him.
Yeah, I can't hear KO either.
I think he has to go in and out. It might be something with Keith. But like Raheem was saying, yes, I think if they could do this is one thing. You take Andrea Shaw, another one, I think Chelsea Dion, Teresa Vasic, I would say Sheena Oleg. Who else? I would say very attractive, very feminine guys who probably like and follow.
George, they don't look like that all season round.
I know they don't. I know they don't. I mean, they don't do this because most people think that, like we all know, the everyday average person think that most people and most women try to stay that shredded look, but they don't. But when you see, like, I follow Sheena, and she is just beautiful. I've got to meet her up close and personal. People like several other ladies, who I've met that even when they're not competing, they when they get softer, get more feminine, they're more relaxed. I remember when Maria talked about she don't like doing photos when she's competing because the fact that she don't like the second look at her. But the fan base, which is mostly men, which is we all know it's most, as that's us, they love the shredded look. But we know it's not maintainable year long. We are here. This is my man, War 2000s. Bodybuilding hasn't been on ESPN or any other sports television for years, so it's the bottom level of popularity. Yeah, that's true. Yes. Also, I can hear you, Keith. Keith, his volume might have been down or been bad connection. And it's right, he's picking on him. He has that bad connection.
I had a question. I had a question for you, Raheem.
Sure.
What do you do for like a living? I know you an actor, right? Like, did it ever occur to you maybe you probably could do filmmaking? Like, probably like, cause you have you ever met have you like come across like a female bodybuilder or anything like that to like do like an independent film or anything? I don't
No,
know.
I
I'm just
mean,
throwing that out there.
no, I haven't. But the thing is, the thing about female bodybuilders, thing about and just what we discussed about in general, you have to put yourself out there. There's a lot of independent filmmakers on all social media. Some are on Instagram, Facebook. Some of them are to the point where their work is studio level. Like it looks like they can work for Warner Brothers in 20th Century Studios. But you gotta be out there. You got like he said, and it's true. Bodybuilding is just a stepping stone. It is. You don't want to be a Keenan Thompson, be on Saturday Night Live forever. That's a stepping stone. That's the problem with bodybuilders. You this is the reason why everybody complain about the money is because you think that this is supposed to be a sport that was supposed to take care of you, like you're in the NBA or you in MLB. It's not that type of sport. It is a stepping stone. It is to wherever road you want to take it to. That's what it is. What is it? Isabel, I guess she's doing podcasts, so she's in media. Okay, so she found her niche. Um, you have to ask. Okay, let's just be real. I'm sorry, burst your bubbles, George. Andrea Shaw's about to be 41. This is a sport where you have to start thinking now. I'm in the twilight of this sport. You know, Arnold left when he was in his 30s. Andrea's in her 40s. What are you going to do next?
But you gotta
You have
remember,
to ask yourself
but
these questions because it's
but
not
then
long.
here's the thing, or you gotta remember, women and men are different biology. Sometimes women can go a little longer than men because the fact is they don't have testosterone. You know, men we age different from women, but women can like outlast because their body's not as stressed compared to us. It's the purpose of life of men is to build, battle, and die, and that's it. We have a short lifespan. You
Got
know,
you. I
yeah.
got you. What you're
And
saying.
even at 41, there, Luke Rigno came back and he was like about maybe in his late 40s. He came back competing. He looked great. It was just different level of muscle compared to when he was competing. And understand that Andrea, if you follow Andrea like I do, she's about her business. She's already got to deal with a company, when they're making like a rice that's out of Canada. She got a contract with Mutant, and that is a popular. I think they do supplements, stuff like that.
But that's
She's
but that's still. But what I'm saying is, when I say that, it's not about to put her down or anything. It's just about when you are this sport. Let's just keep it real. The sport is great, but it doesn't pay. And when I say you are getting older, it's not about you winding down. It's just about okay, it's a given that this sport doesn't pay. You know, it's a given that you have to be your independent contractor. Basically, you have to promote yourself, even though you're on the IFBB stage. You have to figure out how to promote yourself, where you want to go, and promote yourself at. Okay, that's the thing. Like you don't want to keep competing all the way up to your 60s and 70s. And then you still bitching and complaining. Oh, they're not paying me. They're not paying me. Oh, I spent so much money on this. I spent air tickets. But not realizing that this is just a stepping stone. It's a jump off point to where you want to go. Yes, you fall bodybuilding is your passion. And unfortunately, it's not the NBA. It's not MLB. Hell, it's not even WNBA because WNBA get paid more too. It's not that. It's a selfish sport. It's an individual sport. It's a sport where there's time where you are not going to make the big money, where you could just take what you can, even if it's $2,000, take it. Let me flip it, make it to something better. Make a big business. But this is where we at. And then on top of that, you have to learn how to deal with your fans, regardless of the situation. Smile. Doesn't matter if they keep DM you. Say, "Oh, okay, great." Now when they go get out of line, then you just block them. I get that, but you can't just put down your fans. You can't, disrespect them as much. You could just say in your head, "Oh, I can't stand this motherfucker," but sign, smile. Okay. Hey George, how you doing? Oh, I can't stand George, but here you go. No, I'm not just playing around, but it's just it's because what happened is you get more honey you get more flies with honey than vinegar, as they were saying.
well,
So
what that's
saying is you have to use that.
I say in my interviews, right, you get more with a silk glove than with an iron fist. And I
Yeah.
reach out to ladies, and if they want to come on, I appreciate it. The ones that turn me down, I move on. I tell them, hey, if you ever change your mind, I'm here. I tell this to KL. Don't focus on the ones that don't want to do this, who don't want to talk about themselves. Like I have people like Jada who's been on my show at least 2 or 3 times. Andrea
Bro,
Sauer, Andrea Sauer's been on there a couple of times. I've been have some ladies who come on that,
all
hey,
the
they
girls
come on
that
my
you talk about, they just reject. Go ahead, go ahead, go
no,
ahead.
yeah, you hate it, you hate it, you hate it. Yeah, okay,
No,
that's
I'm
cool.
Good.
saying like it's not always easy. A lot of I hear what you're saying, George, and it's true. But it's at a certain point, sometimes that it's not easy. Sometimes for me, I'm not saying that anybody need to do it or it's a great idea, but sometimes I do kind of give them a little compensation when it's when I feel like I want to get somebody
Yeah.
to talk to. So, but it's because
Here,
I could be doing it all day and just be searching the Instagram and I'd be like exhausted. I'm like, damn,
but
this
this
is
thing is,
tiring.
anything worth having is never going to be easy. And then
Nope.
also, like this,
It
you don't
sounds
like I said,
good, but
I offer compensation. often. I don't offer, you know, money. Like I'll fix a little gift package. I'll send it to you. Or depending, if like if it's ladies that in another country, I might send them a little something after the interview. I gotta say you have to wait till, because they say my funds is not that deep. But when, like right now, I'm going to fix a package for a couple ladies. One lady's birthday is coming up next month. She's a good friend of mine. I want to send her something appreciation. And one lady I owe her because she's on my list of ladies that I was promised a package to. You know, I understand that it can be frustrating, but if you enjoy what you do, and I enjoy what I do, and sometimes like that old saying, you'll kiss a lot of frogs before you get your princess. And I know, like, you have ladies like you're still in good contact with. They might say, hey, Ed, what you doing? I might want to jump on. Or they just okay. They just like I remember when was it that Marilyn Yee? She after she got a pro card, she said, "Hey, George," she sent me a thing. Say, "Hey, I haven't been in contact with you around, so I just want to pop on." When you get an
I ain't
interview,
never experienced that, George.
well,
I ain't
every now and then
experienced
I
that
have,
yet.
I sometimes I might say, "Hey, what you doing? What's up? How you doing?" Say, "Hey, I'm doing fine." Say, like remember we were talking to Maria, and she said she would like to do something with us. She wants to do a threesome. So,
Yeah,
but
that she
yeah,
like the first one. She the first. She like I'm not. I'm lying. I mean, there's some that I've asked for like a second talk. Sometimes it took time, but then eventually they did. But others, they kind of like it's a
yeah,
different story. But it's just very small few. In my situation have like, hey, I don't mind talking to you again. And then, sometimes I do a little compensate from after they come and like, hey, not everybody, I can't do everybody, but
yeah.
when if I feel like it depends on me. But
Yeah,
it's
because
not
like,
easy. I mean, everybody can't do it,
well, like I
That's
said,
that's all.
like Ronnie Coleman says, like everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but don't want to lift his heavy ass weight. You have to really say like this: if you enjoy what you're doing, and I do enjoy what I do, because it gives me something to do. I don't have much to do because, like I said, everybody in my family is doing anything. I don't have no kids. I don't have a wife. That's with me. But I have been rejected, and as men, we can take rejection better than women, because women they can't take
Yeah.
rejection like us. Women, if you tell a woman no, it's like her world's blowing up. You tell some guys no, says okay, we just gonna move on. But women like this need to understand, and even the guys. I have guys on here before. Keith has been on here. My man Sean interviewed Oksana's husband. Autumn. You know, I even reached out to one lady who I interviewed her husband. I say, if you ever get a chance, here, you want to come on, because me and him been talking about it for. He's a really cool dude, and he gets
It's
some fun.
different with guys, though. I mean, of course, guys is more. They're not really complex like women are. Like in a sense, guys can be complicated, but not as women. Like it, because with the different emotions, like
Well, man, we have emotions
there's
too.
some women, of course. But I'm just saying that with guys, if they want to do something, they're gonna do it. Because I even like interview like people that create comics and stuff at times, and I'll be like, hey, you want to do da 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 da. It's like probably like very small few kind of give me the no response, or they'll say they're gonna do something and they don't. But I noticed like the guys is not too much. When guys, when we want to do something, we'll do it. The women, it depends. If they feel like they want to do it, they'll do it. It depends on the mood. That type of shit. That type of That's what I can say.
Here, this is what I learned, because I worked with women for a long time. I worked 13 years with women in textiles. I worked 5, 6 years with women in the strip club. You either like this: you're too emotional, you're a wet blanket. If you're not emotional enough, you're a bitch. Sometimes women got to walk that fine line. Like, you remember the movie Dolores Claiborne? I think Raheem. You remember seeing that movie with Kathy Bates, the part with the woman who was the boss, says all woman has in this world is being a bitch. you know, and sometimes some women can be like that. But there's some women who are good natured women who just say, maybe they're maybe about shy because they don't know what they want to do. I reached out to a lady who I've been talking to. We've been talking back and forth. Say, hey, I've been trying to get you on because your story really interested me. So so we're gonna try. We already have something set, and we're gonna get together, back together. Then we're gonna see that's it. Sometimes it takes time. You have to be patient. You have to, like I said again, you have to kiss a lot of frogs for you to get your princess sometimes.
What are we talking about again?
Well, he's talking about his situation where how trying to get a woman to do these fear about building podcasts. It's not easy for him, like he says, to get like he does like he had guys do comics. I'm sending some of his comic stuff because I used to cut comics when I was younger and I listen to it because I support him. But some of these ladies are kind of because he just interviewed with a young lady who's a martial artist. He did an interview
Cool.
last night, 2 interviews yesterday with Maria, who I did an interview with. That was it when I did an interview with Maria? I think was that Wednesday, Valentine's Day interview Maria, and this young lady who's she competes in another federation, and and she seemed like she was really open when I think she was like writing down names like that. That's one
Yeah,
person that
yeah.
she's really open. I mean, I might reach out to her and maybe ask questions about herself.
Yeah, I told her about you. Just she looked at your name and she wrote it down.
Yeah, she probably I guess you got search and I mean IG
Her
or
name is
you know
Leanne Abbey. Like
yeah.
I'll send you the
Well,
IG.
like I said, like I emphasized, and I said, the for the athletes, to get their self notice, it's a gold mine right now. It's really a gold mine. You have so many podcasts shows, you have so many independent public access with hosts. Because remember, podcast wants to be podcast hosts. They want to be the next Joe Rogan, so they're striving for that. You are at ground zero. You there. Once they blow up, hey, come on my show. Promote bodybuilding. Um, Same thing with public access. Everybody wants to be the next Barbara Walters. You at ground zero with them. Go on. Like for me
Yeah.
right now, oh, Keith, you back.
Yeah. Well, before you say
Sorry.
this, as I said, before you say
That
that,
Obama
Raheem,
Wi-Fi,
No, my
right?
yeah,
You
son
know.
just signed with the St. Louis Cardinals, so I had to deal with some stuff.
yeah. Well, congratulations, congratulations
Congrats,
to your
man.
boy.
Congrats,
Congratulations.
congrats.
Before this, right here, say, I'm not a fan of Joe Rogan, whole Rogan. Fuck him for the shit he did. You get it? I'm
But
not a fan of it.
but
So
but if regard, okay, I get it. But when I say these people name is it's not about to take it personal. We're just using the name.
yeah, I know
But
that
what
take
I'm
a
trying
person,
to
but I don't
say
like him.
is I get it. But he's the biggest
Yeah,
podcast person out there, so I have
yeah,
to
I know
say
he
that.
is, but he's big
So
piece of
what I'm
shit too.
saying is every athlete, like look, Kai Green bounced. He said, "Okay, I'm doing right now." Kai Green is doing independent films. I guess the what's her name, Jay Fouch. She's doing independent films in Europe. But
hmm Julia
that's
Foray.
that's what you need to do. Bodybuilding is not going to pay the bills. So all that, excuse my language, I hate to be I don't want to sound mean, but all that
Not
bitching and
really.
complaining is not, it's going to go on deaf ears because it's not, it was never meant for that. Okay, fine, you travel halfway around the world and you got $2,000. Whoopie do. Take that $2,000 and flip it. But and then take what you can out of it and say, let me go this direction, maybe film or maybe host my own podcast show because you saw that by building connections as well. Kai Green built connections and he did.
Yeah, because I
But
know
here's
I
the
told.
thing, but people understand. Like the way I look at it is the our biggest following right now that me and Tina follow is the Kelsey brothers. The Kelsey brothers are two of the biggest names in football right now. But guess what? They don't talk about fucking football. They talk about the fun. These girls have to understand when you're talking about podcasts, you don't have to talk about bodybuilding. You can just talk about shit that happens in this gym. You can just talk about anything. That's what podcasts are made for. Kai Green is one of the most entertaining people on the face of the earth that you'll ever meet, and the most down to earth. Will give if I reached out to Kai and he wasn't busy, I'm like, hey Kai, would you come on George's podcast? He probably would. Tina tell you she loves him because Kai he'll talk to anybody. Kai just likes to talk. He's just who Kai is. He's made change a little bit since he's gotten bigger, but Kai is Kai. And that's the difference between Kai and everybody else. But Kai also understands he was a man who was hungry. He was a man who was homeless. He was a man who was sleeping in a men's shelter. Who was given false and empty promises by Steve Blackman at Muscle Development, things like that, in order to get. I remember when he first turned pro, Steve said he was going to give him 10 grand, and Kai called him, and Steve Blackman's wife answered the phone and said, "Don't fucking call this house ever again." Well, guess who's the shoe's on the other foot now? because Kai is bigger than the sport will ever be, especially after doing Generation Iron, because he became a fan favorite of everybody because they made Phil Heath to be the villain and they made Kai Grease to be the good guy, you know, and that's the way Generation Iron was built and made, you know. So understanding that these girls have to understand these platforms that we're talking about can be entertaining. It doesn't have to be like, you know, I don't think like Raheem said back in the day, women like I don't think somebody like, well, how much gear are you taking? Not one person as I talk is looking at me saying, hey Keith, how many steroids do you take? Not one person has ever come up to me and asked me that question, and let alone would they come up to a female. And again, like Raheem said, also you have, you know, mediators like George to be like, those are not appropriate questions to ask. Delay, you're off the show. You know, that can control the environment. What we're saying is when KL was on had the girl who wanted to be paid and her shortness and her temperament and everything else, it's just they need to create something. When I watch Travis and I watch Jason, especially in their podcast, is probably the most popular podcast in the world right now. You know, especially seeing that he's dating Taylor Swift. That it's shit's just entertaining. It's just entertainment. And these girls have to understand that even though we're talking about bodybuilding, there's other things besides bodybuilding that you can talk about. You know, and that's the one thing that when George first started this thing, and I'll reiterate it again, that got me in tune with George is when Tina was doing Omaha Pro, and he just went in depth with every girl, like, you know, where they were in their career, who they were, what they were about. I think he even had one girl changing her baby's diaper on the diaper table and all this other shit. You know, it gets in depth. It gets you connected with them. Saying, you know, it's like I hate it when they did the world championships. They used to do the videos. Every girl talked about I worked out. Well, no fucking shit, you work out. You know, you don't look like that because you don't work out. Tell me something about something different. Like Tina would do her podcast and would lose. Tina video would be like, I'm a mom. You know, the kids sitting next to me doing cardio. You know, I run a bar. You know, our lives are chaotic with the world that we live in. That's real shit. You know, these girls, I don't give a shit about you, but I want to know what your real life's about. I want to know you get in depth, like how do you balance, you know, training and not every girl has kids and all this other shit. But how does you balance your training with your competing? Because I had one girl say, you know, I'm taking a year off from competing. I think you said, George, last week because it costs her too much money. You know, the girl from Arizona. You know, so you know, what do you do? You know, what do you do to make your living? You know, that intrigues people. Like, man, all we think these girls do is fucking lift weights. I don't just lift weights. I'm a fucking dad. I'm a bodybuilder. I run a business. I got a whole bunch of other things I do besides fucking working out. Some people have that luxury and some people don't.
Yeah.
But that's
Well,
what
that's
people
what they did with, that's what they did with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Pump and Iron. Remember, they showed him in school.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I remember Kay, when his interview with Maria, she mentioned she worked in finances, she worked in loans. You know, she did something outside bodybuilding. Our conversation with ladies where I have to say, well, tell me about yourself, share your story. You know, people might want to know something about you. Like when I did an interview with Gina Cortez, you know, she's a nurse, she's a mom. She told a story how when she went to visit her son and how her granddaughter asked her, Grandma, you're a celebrity. And then she sees all these pictures and stuff. You know, those are things that really would probably get people to interest in women like this because you have a story. It's not about you pumping weights, lifting iron. You know, it's about you as a person. People need to recognize that. Oh, we got here a comment from War 2000. He says this. He says, Dexter Jackson still competed ever since in the late 40s and looked great. So you saying Andrea Shaw can't still be competing in her 40s too? Well, you know, it's all dependent on the competitor. You know,
that's not what I said. I never said that she.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's what he think he said, but you said that you know she's gonna be 41 next year. I know that.
Yeah, well, this year. But what I'm saying is that
this year.
Again, what I'm saying is that bodybuilding, it's a stepping stone. It's not to pay the bill. What I'm saying is that when you come up to a certain age, right, you have to start saying to yourself, okay, I won for Miss Olympia or for Miss Olympia. What's the next chapter in my life? That's what I'm saying. It's not about you can do it forever. You can. But it's like me, if I won, like for instance, if I won for Mr. Olympians, right? I'm saying to myself, I'm about to be 44. What's the next chapter in my life? I already conquered. It's like climbing Mount Everest. I already climbed Mount Everest. What's the next chapter in my life? That's what I'm saying. Do I still want to continue to climb Mount Everest, even though I may reach the top? Do I want to go back down again and do the summit over again, or do I want to go someplace else and do more challenging? That's what I'm saying. It's not about you
Well,
being.
like I mean, but like like Andrea Shaw. Andrea Shaw owns a business. She owns a gym. She trains a lot of people. I was there watching her train people in and out the door. Her and John are business partners at Anytime Fitness and doing really well for themselves. She has Andrea has a shit ton of sponsors as well. So Andrea is a smart business girl. She understands some things are mainstream and some things are not for her. And for the women in bodybuilding, she understands you have Juan Morel, who's a competitor for he opened up a restaurant. He does the cookie dealer. He became a main sponsor. So some of these bodybuilders and some of these athletes that we are understanding, Kai Green, Dana Lynn Bailey, are understanding, what? And it's and you're absolutely right. What's your next plan of action, Raheem? And that you're absolutely right. And that's why some of these bodybuilders are walking away saying, you know what? I got what I needed out of the sport. I got the notoriety I need out of the sport. But now it's time for me to move on. And I think people like Andrea, who invest in her money wisely, and to her gym, and to her whatever she has going on, and that's what she's doing because nothing lasts forever. Chris Bumstead said, if you watch his videos, he goes, at one point in time, he wasn't happy. He was winning, but he wasn't happy. So he had to invest time in his wife. He had to invest time in his business. And now, because you understand, him and Andrea are basically in the same pot. They're making $50,000 a show. He only does it once a year, but his net worth is like millions because of all the other endeavors he has going on. Kai Green. Kai Green was making, think about it. Kai Green would do the Arnold, or he would do the Arnold, or he would do the Olympia. Well, that's 250. I think now the Olympia money is like 400,000 compared to when Ronnie was doing his 175. But now the prize money is 400,000. But he understands. And even George, I think he sent it to me saying how the IFBB is a joke from that sense that the money is still not compared to other professional sports. So these guys are understanding hey, I got to do other things and invest my money wisely. Flex Wheeler was a prime example of that. Flex Wheeler knew he would win a show, so he would go up to Charleston, that's for 50 grand. But guess what? Some of these bodybuilders at the end of their career had shit. It's just like 60% of NFL players have nothing at the end of their career because they don't understand not investing your money, not doing things with your money. That shit will eventually run out. And so.
Yeah, because a lot of those guys, are poor, broke, struggling because instead of just putting money into investments and they put it into partying and buying expensive cars, buy yourself a nice house. You don't have to buy
George,
top
sometimes,
car.
George, sometimes, I'm gonna agree with you, but sometimes I disagree. Sometimes guys also athletes in general, now doesn't matter, guys. They also put their money in investments, but the investments was always bad because everybody has a good intention, but sometimes they will put their money into investment. They thought it was a winning investment. Then kind of find out the investment was bad, So not
I've
all
done
them
that.
putting money on houses, girls, and all that stuff. Some actually thought, okay, I want to invest in my future, and somebody gave them a wrong investment advice, and they lose money right there. So there's been more stories to that than actual of just spending money on women and everything.
Well,
Like good example
absolutely.
this.
Cryptocurrency is one of them.
Yeah, good example this Hammer. Hammer. That's a good example where he was top of his
No.
game.
Hammer's the wrong
And,
example. No. He actually
what?
listen. A lot of people don't know. Hammer actually invested in when the internet was coming up. He was smart. You may thought he got broke with being an artist, but Hammer invested in Silicon Valley back when it was coming up in the late 80s, early 90s. So Hammer is not broke. Don't believe the media. That's like what everybody kept telling you. Michael Jackson, bro. Michael owned
No.
the Beatles catalog and all the other
Elvis is
artists. So
Beatles
don't
and
believe
Elvis.
the hype.
Yeah, Michael's not broke. Most of his money now goes to his kids, and they're very wealthy. Yeah, it's just about what needs to be done, and also the subject was about how you compare men and women in competitions. That's what. But it doesn't take long to go off that subject. But I think what needs to be done is like if
Do you
women
think
like
women
how,
compete against men,
yeah,
Tina? Tina said if it went for size, no.
No, but we for like conditioning and maybe figure that'd be a different situation. Like
Aesthetically, women would kill men. She said.
I think I believe it because guys just be more beefier, but they just don't have that condition. That's why you have divisions like men's classic and men's physique.
I'm standing on no. Women can't compete with men. They need to stay in their lane.
What you said, Raheem?
Let's break too long. That's why he's kryptonite.
What did he say?
I ain't settled. I don't care. I said women can't compete with men. They need to stay in their lane. That's it.
He said
if they have their
they
lane.
need to stay in their lane.
Oh no.
Hey, Tina said there's a lot of things she can do better than a man.
I wouldn't want to know that. I think I bet. But like I said, it's just always going to be the issue. We were going to think people outside looking in. They will always say, okay, like someone like if you look at the Tag Kobaleva, who just did it in Romania, how she looked compared to, I think I had a picture here when I pulled it up. If I can find it, how she looked compared to someone like
William Benoit.
Lavinia Bottles. Who?
Oh, never mind. I thought you were talking about the picture you showed earlier.
Yeah, it was another picture I thought I downloaded, but it must be a web, so it can't come on. I can't pull it. But it's about the aesthetics, what separates men and women, and people outside didn't realize that men in the bodybuilding world will not compete at the same level as the women in the bodybuilding world, and women will not compete at the same level as the men in the bodybuilding world. Women would outdo guys in conditioning, but men will always outdo women in size. And even though I see pictures of certain women, I see someone say, "Hey, she should be 212, or she should be competing in men's open." But if you put her someone like Anastasia alongside like Nick Walker, it's still Nick's gonna outweigh her by at least about 100 pounds or more. Even if she gets to 200 pounds, he's still gonna outweigh her by maybe a little more. And maybe conditioning might be the difference. But organizations like the IFBB, NPC are not going to create a new division for particular men. Like you already got men's bikini. That's the men's figure class. I mean physique. The men's physique class. That's men's bikini.
Because we already know one thing. The IFBB and the NPC is known for doing one thing. The classes they create generate money, and that's not going to be a class that generates money. It's going to be a class that generates controversy, but it's not going to generate money. So they're not ever going to do that. Wellness has brought in money. Do we like it? No. But the IFBB doesn't give a shit. The NPC doesn't give a shit because it's like bikini. When they brought bikini in, bikini has probably the most girls. And again, the market is saturated with it because they give out 2 pro cards per show to and there's a billion amateur pro shows where girls can turn pro in bikini and wellness right now. And the reason why they do that, the reason why they do wellness right there, and the reason why they do, I probably cut back on bikini, but they do wellness is to bring more girls into that class, to bring more competitors into that class. You know how many girls I've run into is like, I'm a wellness competitor, and I'm like, really? I'm like, okay, whatever. But the NPC, the one thing I can say, and the IFBB is not stupid. If they have my mentality, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And they're not stupid. They're like, if it's making us money, it stays. If it's not making us money, it goes to the wayside. And that's the bottom line. Every class, in bikini and in wellness is bringing in money because anybody can do it. I'm not gonna say that.
Well,
I'm back.
Yeah, well, I saw you back, so I appreciate that.
It was my bomber Wi-Fi.
You should not hear it, but now you're okay. But like I said, this is discussion that's why I wish that I had Mary Ann and Lori on. I got a text from Lori. Something happened with her. That's why she couldn't make it. And I told Keith earlier what happened with Mary Ann, her situation. That's this is why we really need women to. I posted on my IG and I post, hey ladies, if you want to, anybody, let me know you want to come on. You give your thoughts because the fact is we need to hear from you. Like Tina, she's been talking off the side, and that's probably good. But we really need to hear what they want, for themselves. And if you're not willing to put yourself out there and say you're not gonna get nothing, like my mama always told me, a closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Nope.
Nope. But George, let me say this: let me say sports as a whole is in a bad situation. Last night was the All Star. No one saw it. It was so bad. The NBA All Star game. It was so bad. It was
Terrible.
terrible. It was. Listen, it's not about. Let me tell you something now. It's not a female thing. It's listen. Sports across the board is losing money. The reason why the Super Bowl had Taylor Swift is a Swiftie fan. They losing money. They're losing the fan base. That we gotta at least have Taylor Swift in here. It's marketing. Everybody, all sports are losing fan base. Everybody's tired. Everybody's like, it's not what it used to be across the board.
Not the
No one even
NFL.
mentions baseball. No one mentions baseball no more. Baseball used to be America's pastime.
Not the NFL. You're right. With Swifty, she brought $331 million to the NFL. Guess what? When you're watching the Super Bowl, who is Roger Goodell sitting in the suite with?
Taylor
Taylor
Swift.
Swift.
Because he's not. And guess what? What was one of the main focal points on? And this was brilliant. That's what makes the NFL brilliant is when you did the Pro Bowl for football. What did you have? You had little girls playing. You had not little girls, 17-year-old girls playing football. Now you have the girls now you have flag football in the Olympics. You have flag football because now anybody can play football without getting hurt, having fun. And again, when they did a pitch, they said they had an unbelievable pitch for the NFL during halftime, or actually before the game, and it was about Taylor Swift, and it was one of those things where fathers can now spend times with their daughters, even though their daughters weren't as interested in football. It gave them an opportunity to share something with their daughters. How fucking brilliant was that?
Yeah, and see, a lot of these conservatives are like Taylor Swift is that. It doesn't matter her political interests. That's not important to the NFL. It's
That's
important.
not important to a little girl.
Yeah, it's important what brings money and gets attention for this. And NFL, let's keep in mind this. NFL is a business. Like I know people when Chelsea got her channel shut down. People talk about, oh, it's a little no. The YouTube is a business. It's a business. She was promoting something that was they didn't want to promote it, and that's why she lost her channel. She's had a new one now. That's what somebody told me. That's information I gathered. But it's a business, and these businesses is about what can make money from them. Like when they got Jay-Z to work with them, because after the whole thing with the whole mess with Colin Kaepernick, when people kind of pissed when they did the whole thing with the Black National Anthem. That was because it's Black History Month. You like I said again, 75% of your players and your fan base is mostly Black people. Who's mostly that's who you're playing. You don't have like it used to be where the number was like white males, but it has gone down a little bit by a little bit because when they integrated blacks into sports, it kind of changed. If you go back to old basketball games, how you look how basketball used to be back in the day. You just throwing layups. Now you look how it evolved from Julius Erving to Michael Jordan to LeBron James over the years. It's about what promotes and get that sports attention.
It's not really more about. It's about just listen. Owners can be racist as the sun rises and sets. To them, it's about money.
Yeah.
So if the black guys can shoot the ball better than the white guys, they don't care. It's about putting money. They see that they put money. They put in money. People in the seats and money. Um, Michael Jordan wasn't the highest paid player. The owner of the Bulls was Jerry Reinsdorf. Jerry Reinsdorf owned the Bulls and the White Sox. He was the cheapest owner. He never paid Jordan what he was really supposed to be paid. Jordan got all his money from endorsements, movie deals, Haynes, McDonald's. That's where Jordan bulk of his money came from. It
Well, so
wasn't.
did LeBron.
Well, LeBron came in at the time when when LeBron came in, the TV deal monies were higher. That's what I'm saying. So
And plus the
remember,
Bucks family.
Kevin Garnett, when he came in '95, he was the highest paid NBA player at the time. Then it was Shaq. Jordan wasn't the highest paid because his owner, the owner of the Chicago Bulls, was extremely cheap. He wasn't even trying to sign Scottie Pippen to a good deal. So what I'm trying to say at the end of the day, athletes as a whole, you have to, when you're that popular, when you have the charisma, this is what I keep saying to you ladies, charisma. Say it
Yep.
with me, ladies, charisma. When you have that charisma, you could, you may not have to look, but if you have the charisma, people will buy into you. They will love you. Okay, like you said, Keith, your wife is about to be an actress, right? She's
Yep.
getting deals, and the reason why is because she was approachable. And
Yeah.
when these people talk to her, in her mind, she wasn't thinking, "Oh, they want someone to have sex with me." No, she was like, "Let me hear them out. These are guys. They come to me for some for a project. I want to hear them out." It wasn't a defense up. It wasn't, "Oh, they want to sleep with me," stuff like that. She wasn't thinking that ahead. She just said, "Okay, these look like a nice gentleman. They talk a business. Let's hear them out." The
Yep.
problem with everybody, everybody's making an assumption when a person comes to them. Stop that. Get some help. It's not
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, you're right because they, even the casting agency that's working for her now is like they said you're different than every other girl that we've dealt with because all those other deal girls would have took the deal and ran with it, but they said you're different. The way you approach, the way you answer, the way you talk to these guys is different, and
Yeah.
they respect that.
You know,
She doesn't have a
the
bitch
industry,
attitude. She's just like, my moral compass is my moral compass, and you're not going to change that.
you know, it's crazy, Key, because this is what I learned as an actor. This industry is so small, and I'm trying to say this to any female bodybuilder. When you go to these events or these expos, and you don't know who's watching you. Maybe it's
Yep.
an executive HBO. You don't know he's an executive HBO, but if you're having that demeanor, maybe the reason why um people from these media is not talking to you because Davy Jake is saying, "Oh, when I had this brand ambassador, they didn't want to do nothing. They did da 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 da."
Yeah.
So now he's telling his rich friends about how they was behaving, and they like, "Okay, I don't want to invest with these women."
Yeah, you're right. Well, it's
So
like
you
my
have to be
my
careful.
hairstylist. She was at my house, and my wife's crazy. She's she runs a bar. She's crazy, and she does crazy shit all the time. And but she's 100 with people. And my hairstylist goes, "You two really need a reality show." I
I
go, "I
think
don't
that
know." I said, "I don't know if the people of the world is ready for that shit."
I think that's not a good idea because I remember they used to do that Muscle Mansion before the Rising Phoenix. I mean, that was pretty cool. I liked it. There could be, you could do. You probably have to be best. It won't be do like on YouTube or like because Jake owns he has the Olympia YouTube or something like that or something that really probably would get people's attention
You
and
know what's
maybe
popular
one
right now, George? You know what's
what
popular right now? Tubi.
oh Tubi with the bad movies.
Doesn't matter. Everybody love Tubi. If you could get those stuff on there, it's great. If a female bodybuilder go onto those bad movies on Tubi, it's still exposure because if you talk to any young person, they rock Tubi. Is Tubi or Roku? That's what they rock. So that's exposure. It doesn't matter how bad the movie is. You be like, oh, my movie's gonna be on. You know what I mean? If any of these female bodybuilders say, I did a film and it's gonna be on Tubi, all they friends, families, people that follows on social media, they're watching, they'll support the movie because Tubi is free. That's one thing about, even though they got quote unquote bad movies, but it's free and people talk about the movies on Tubi. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. This is a perfect time for anybody who's in this sport to get the exposure they can. Kai Green is doing that, what he's doing. Keith Wife is going out there, in Hollywood doing what she got to do. They getting exposure. That's great. That's amazing. So there's opportunities for these athletes. There's no need to figure out, oh, what Jim Emmanuel has to do. Oh, we got to figure out what Wings and Strings have to do. No, they gave you the platform. It's for you to take the platform and run with it. That's what it's about. There's so much opportunities out here. It's not like back in the 80s and 90s where Hollywood is a closed door and you can't get in. There's opportunities.
Yeah, and like one of the opinion movies are getting popular. You know, was it a while back had that the two most popular movies that already got Oscar nominated this year is Oppenheimer and the Barbie movie. And I saw I was watching TV. I saw um Killian, the guy who played Oppenheimer and Robert Maggi. And both of them. This is one thing about these two. They both played in DC comic based movies. Killing was was a scarecrow in all three Chris Nolan movies for Batman, and Margot Robbie was Harley Quinn in DCEU once they shut it down. But if there's opportunities, I think maybe with the right script, the right you need money because somebody might do a kickstart like I think one last movie I think was it I think it was one movie I think it was either I forget the name of the movie but it was a kickstart how they went in and they got enough money and the movie made was remember Blair Witch the Blair Witch movie that came out years ago. That movie, it took them. I think they made. I think it cost them $10,000 to make it,
Yeah.
and then they made hundreds of millions. There was a garbage sequel after that, but the first movie, it was just they made buku money, you know. And sometimes I was saying, bad press is just as good as good press.
Yep.
So anyway, gentlemen, this is a good discussion. I truly do wish that we had some more ladies on here to give their thoughts. I was hoping, like I said, I was hoping to get Lori on here, but like I said, she texted me earlier. She said something happened with her. Mary Ann, she's going through some stuff that I was talking with Keith about. But if any of you ladies who are watching this, if you are watching this, and I think there's somebody who are watching it, let us know. You can send me a link. If you want to come on here and give your thoughts, defend your position, you know, come on. This is about you. I'm the type of person who's giving you opportunity to share your story, give your platform. But you don't want it, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to move on to the next person.
And I'm gonna be a controversy. I want to say this. I don't care. The best thing a woman can do is be in the kitchen and make cookies. That's it.
What'd you say?
He said, last thing when you be in the kitchen and make cookies.
Hey, here's the thing, ladies, and George had it right. I am an active IFBB pro. I come on here as an activist for you guys, but if you're not going to fight for yourself, what should somebody like me or George or Raheem or KL, who are not creepers, come onto this show and advocate for you? If you can't advocate for yourself, you can't advocate. And I'm a three-time pro athlete, so don't give me those shit that you're too busy to do this. I have a life. I train. I got off from training and came right on this show to meet George and these other guys to talk about you, not me, about you. So if you can't find the audacity to respect some guys that are sitting here trying to help you advocate for yourself to give yourself a bigger platform, you don't deserve a bigger platform, period. You deserve to be right where you are. And if the sports die, you can say that you are one of those people who didn't help your cause whatsoever. And that's facts. That's absolute facts. That's
Well,
not being
I'm
an asshole. That's not being a dick. That's absolute facts. Get off your ass. Speak up for your sport. Be an ambassador for your sport, and don't let your sport die to the wayside because you didn't want a voice. I don't think that anybody that will come on this show, meaning any woman, will put themselves in jeopardy of getting in trouble. If that's the case, I shouldn't be on this show talking either
yeah.
because I'm an
Well,
active pro. I got 3 shows coming up this year, and I'm not speaking no negative. I'm speaking positive to help enlighten the sport and advocate for you ladies. So you should advocate for yourself.
well, like I said, I'm not a creeper, but I'm a particular type of criminal. And I just love you, ladies, because you are beautiful.
And I'm Al Bundy, and I'm like, honey, these dishes not gonna wash themselves.
Al Bundy, MVP. Shout out to the great Ed O'Neill, great actor, great performer. Loved that show growing up. I mean, still like the clips. He always like not when he's like Peg. When Peg says, "Al, rub my tushy." I wish I was Al. I mean, yeah, I'll Peg. I do more than rub your tushy. So man, we just came back before he headed out. So we'll give him his last thoughts and then we're out. So KL, what's your thoughts of the
I
whole
don't
thing?
have really have what about the everything in general about no, I don't really have too much to say. I mean, I just wish that these women more open, like in the sense of like if somebody inviting them to a podcast, they're willing to be open to it. It's like what Keith was saying. Like, I don't mean no harm. I can be a creep at times, but I'm a gentleman most of the time. So, just give me a chance. If not, I take it, then I'll just keep it moving. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
that's all you
all.
can do. That's all anybody can do. You just keep on moving. So, folks, we do appreciate you who come through. And said again, if you're out there who you have a subject, because I think we have the honor coming up in this week, but I'm not gonna. I might talk about the physical division because I did an interview with a young lady, Anna Famina. She's gonna make her. She's just got invited to the Honor Classic this year. I might talk about the women's the fitness division, not so much about wellness or bikini because, like I said, I don't care about it. But I would love to maybe interview some bikini competitors. I have interviewed a few. Some in the amateur, a couple of pro levels, but if this is about really, I'm a bodybuilding fan, and this channel and this content is about you ladies. If I can get women figure come on here, if I get fitness competitors come on here, physique competitors come on here, you know, it's really you who I'm a fan of, more of. I'm glad I do get the women who like Tina, Rashada Boswell, Jada, Sheena, ladies who are like Yetta May and Yetta Abdul. I want to shout them out. Those women who took the time come on here and share their stories and give their point of view of the sport. This is a sport where it's very tough. There's a lot of work to it, and I gotta respect your passion for it. But also, you gotta recognize that on the outside, people don't understand it, and they had their thoughts. Like and if you see someone like Anastasia Kobalova or Natalia Kosanova, or even someone like even I think this is someone that Raheem's a fan of, Eva Montgomery, who's pretty. She's a big girl too, but I don't think Eva will ever want to compete against a man because she feels like it'd be out of her range. She rather compete with women, which fits with her aesthetics. And people who have the idea, they'll, like I said, realize that men and women are always going to be different. Some things women are better at, like cooking, baking cookies, and like that. But some things men are better at. I cook too. I don't cook cookies. It's been a long. I can't. I think the last time I cooked cookies was when I was in home ec. And that's been years. But I need a good job to put too much baking soda in it.
Not to go
But
off topic, did anybody see the All-Star game?
It was
not really.
trash.
I don't really watch basketball like that.
Okay, I
Hello?
just asking.
Yeah. Well, we talked about earlier. I think yeah, I think Joaquin says it was trash. It was pretty good back in the day, but I think I don't really watch basketball like
Yeah,
that
it was
anymore. Like when
trash. It was trash. They just,
He was so
it's not
fast.
really, it's not that serious. I mean, I missed the slam dunk contest and the shootout, but whatever.
yeah, I think because they have a lot more. I think they also have more of the girls. The WMA get involved in it too now.
Yeah, and they playing
Last
with
few
the
years.
guys too. Also, this one chick, she was playing against. I think she was playing against Steph Curry. Well, in the shootout. Yeah.
Yeah, because they want to be more inclusive for that organization. They want to be more because it is pretty much it's part of NBA adjacent, and they want to be more inclusive because they will be able to have their own. I think they try to have their own All Star weekend for the WMA, but it just
They do have
It's
their
not
own
gonna
All
work.
Star for
they
the
do
WNBA.
they do.
Yes, and the guys are
Yeah.
not there.
Uh,
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
Ain't that
yeah,
much people be watching it. They're not gonna watch it.
yeah.
Not that many.
Just I mean. So anyway, we're gonna head out here. Um, it's, we're gonna appreciate my man Keith, and also say him congratulations to his son. Wish him best of luck in his he got signed to the St. Louis Cardinals. That's great. I hope this young man has a great future. I also like to thank my man KF coming through, also Raheem. Also want to shout out the guys who came in and made comments here. My man Warrior 2000, Devers Adams, also Balls Deep was here, and also my man the coach and my brother Marcus Bell. Lawrence Perkins, can't forget you. Anytime I come on, every time I do an interview, with some of these ladies, they shout Lawrence because Lawrence, he's a good guy. He's one of those guys. He supports these ladies. Lawrence, you should come out here one time. Just come out here, brother, because you truthfully know what you really love you. They love you, man. They love you.
I'm a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and we appreciate that. And also, you, Raheem, you're a good guy. All of us, we're good guys here, ladies. And we want to give you an opportunity, but you got to take it. And you got to get out of your, since someone told me, sometimes, George, you got to get out of your own way. And this time, I had to learn to get out of my own way. You got to, because you know what? Sometimes you got to get out of a comfort zone, and you got to take a chance. This is why I set this thing up. I posted it, ladies who follow me. Hey, they saw it. They commented on it. They liked it. But if you like it, hey, come on and I know you're busy, you got things to do and work, everything like that. But come on. We really want to hear your thoughts. I understand with the ladies who usually be out here, like Lori and Marianne, some things come up, that can't be helped. But the ones who do have free time, come on. You got an hour, half an hour. If you're not training or you maybe between your meals, come on. This is about what you thought. We want your thoughts. I know you're gonna have the weird guys maybe making comments, but I'm the type of person. Some comments I won't post if I know they're stupid, weird, or just don't fit what we're discussing. I won't post them. But we
I know
really
how you
want
feel with the weird guys.
Yeah, I know. Because I tell you guys, hey, no D pics. Sometimes I let Baldy say some stuff because Baldy's pretty good. Sometimes Baldy can be a little bit, But this is a platform for y'all. And you complaining if like I said, you're not getting enough attention. But if you're not willing to put stuff out there, like Raheem said, hey, maybe we go someplace. If you go to a comic convention, hey, talk to these guys. There might be a guy who might be maybe trying to produce a comic book and say, hey, I need somebody who plays a hero, supporting character like that. Take those chances. This is why we do this. This is why I do this, because I give you a voice. But like I said, I do it I enjoy it. But you know what? If you don't want it, I'm not gonna keep giving you a handout. So, brother, I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate for all you coming through, man. Good luck to you and you and everybody else. Folks, like I said again, if you have a topic you want to talk about, especially it's concerning bodybuilding, you can follow me on my All the Way George page on IG. Also, you can go and maybe leave a comment in the my community section if you have something you want to say, or one of my videos. You can reach out to me. I mean, hey, I'm open. Just send me a DM, shoot me what you want to. If you're the ladies out there who say, I want to come on and do something, talk about something. I mean, we're talking like I think maybe like I said, I mentioned to Maria. If she wants, maybe we try something after the Arnold. Make sure if it's fit her schedule, and we can do like you, me, and her. Maybe the Arnold is this next weekend because it's gonna be the first, because that's March.
Yeah.
Maybe that
You're
next
the one to
Monday.
set it up.
Yeah, maybe that next Monday, the Monday after next. See if she's interested in me coming on and doing like we do like a Razor Monks talk. Like we talk about the Arnold and other stuff. Like I said, next Monday. I don't interview anything. Like I said, I always want to keep going my MuscleTalk Mondays. We can talk about something that really is relative, or just have fun, be men, talk shit about women. That's something we could do. But I'd like to thank again my man Big Keith, my brother Big Keith, congratulations to your son. Congratulations, Raheem. He was off today. We got Raheem. That was a very good occasion. Appreciation to KL coming through. Ashim Malik, he wanted to come on. Shout out to him. He's just doing pretty good work, doing good content. He can be a hater sometimes, but like my man Charlie Murphy, like my man Sicky Johnson, let them hate till they can't hate no more.
Who's this?
Hey, yeah. So anyway, folks, I appreciate y'all coming through. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't comment, don't subscribe. I don't care, but I do appreciate whatever you want. If you want, like I said, I put this platform for you who want to share your stories. You ladies out there, even if you guys want to come on here, hey, I reach out to a couple of guys every now and then, and but like I said, it may not be the '80s, but I'm still down with the ladies. So, brother, I really appreciate you coming through, and I hope we get to do it again.
All right, no problem, man. Thank you.
All right. Anyway, folks, this is me on the way George page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I am out. Good evening and good night.